Right, Thursday, 5:45 p.m. UK time, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea Football Club take the trip to Denmark when we face the Danish league leaders in F.C Copenhagen in the round of 16 in the Europa Conference League. My God, that was a mouthful. Josh Aveste, how are we doing, my friend?
You are a consummate pro, you are. I don't know how you do it.
First attempt, first take. never any problems. Never any problems. So, Copenhagen. You excited for this one?
I'm very excited. I wish I was going to Copenhagen to watch.
Have you been?
I have been many times. It's
Why?
a great place.
Why? I didn't know there were prostitutes in Copenhagen.
There's plenty of prostitutes in Copenhagen, mate. If you know where to find them, you'll always find them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm usually texting you to find them.
Yeah, well.
Copenhagen is a lovely city. Usually we go through there to go up to Sweden. I've
Right.
got some family in Sweden.
Okay.
So,
Family.
That's
what we call it, eh?
That's what we call them. Yeah. But you're missing out because you would have loved it.
More like.
You would love Sweden, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You would love Denmark. We got a lot of big shout out to all the Danish fans. We've got a lot of Danish fans watching
Shout
us
out
right
to Danes. Favourite Dane of all time?
now. I was about to say Ulrika Johnson, and then I was about to offend every single
She's
Danish
Swedish.
person. Exactly. Favourite Dane of all time? Jesper Grønkjær for that goal?
Jesper Grønkjær has the same birthday as me.
Yeah. What a claim to fame.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite Dane of all time then? You can't really beat Jesper Grønkjær. Jesper Grønkjær changed the fate of our club for all time, for eternity.
Well, you know that's actually a myth, though, isn't it?
Why?
Because Jesper Grønkjær scored the winner in that match.
Yeah.
So whoever scored the equaliser in that match, I believe was Marcel Desailly. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Still legend.
Whoever scored the equaliser
Yeah.
in that game is the one that actually put us above Liverpool.
Yeah, but what was if they got a goal in the last minute? Liverpool.
What happens if my auntie had a set of bollocks?
Yeah.
She'd be my uncle. What I'm saying is, mathematically, had Jesper Grønkjær not have scored that goal, Roman Abramovich would have still bought the club that were in the Champions League rather than the club that are allergic to winning trophies in Tottenham Hotspur, who he was looking at. But I'm not going to take any credit away from Jesper Grønkjær. Terrific little player, terrific little Dane. And this Copenhagen side have a couple of good Danes themselves, don't they? Have a couple of good players themselves.
Thomas Delaney. Can we say that?
Delaney.
Yeah.
Ex-Premier League. Wow. Legend's a bit hard.
I don't know about legend.
Hero.
He's a solid player.
Yeah.
Do you know what? For Denmark, he's very good, actually.
Yeah.
Elianusi used to play for Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah.
You a big fan of him?
Yeah. Big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Any other players that you know?
Oh, mate. I like all the ones. I like them all.
You're a big fan of Danish football. Who's your other favourite Danish team? Don't say Copenhagen.
FC Helsinki.
Based in Finland.
No, but I like them when they play away. So, sorry, do you mean a Danish?
Yeah.
I thought you mean a team that play away European matches in Denmark.
Yeah.
A Danish team. Malmo?
Swedish team.
Okay.
Do you want to do a Norwegian team just to complete the Scandinavian quartet?
No, I could think of another Danish team.
Okay.
I could think of another. Fuck's sake! Right, let's just make the viewer aware of what's going on right now. One of the cameras is flickering, which is my camera that's on me. So if it flickers during this episode, we have literally started recording the podcast, we've stopped recording it, we've tried to do it again, and the camera's still flickering.
So what we're going to do next time, we're going to do sort of like a fan edit. And every time it flickers, we're going to show a sort of like a semi-dressed picture of Joey Knight.
Yeah, there you go.
And that will be your treat because... By the way, on our Joey and Josh video, and by the way, if you aren't subscribed to Joey and Josh, what are you doing with your lives? Go over, type Joey and Josh podcast right now into YouTube and go and subscribe. Why not? On our latest Joey and Josh podcast, we had several people asking quite insistently that we start the OnlyFans.
There you go. So maybe there will be some half-naked images of me on screen, but there probably won't be because I haven't got time to do an edit on this.
If it all goes tits up, you've always got a career.
If it all goes tits up, get your tits out, is what I say.
Yeah. Do you reckon there'd be a market for it?
What, for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I'm a half decent looking fella, I reckon.
And then after all these people that we've been bantering about doing these collabs, You'd be straight on the phone with Lily,
That's when you know I've
wouldn't you?
hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Me and General G in a hot tub.
Yeah.
Right, let's go back to Copenhagen. Now, obviously, top of the Danish league. To be fair, pretty prolific form in the Danish league, having only lost, once in their last 15 games. Lots of draws in there, though. Definitely draw merchants.
Just above your favourite Danish team, Midtjylland, FC Midtjylland.
I love FC Midtjylland.
Yeah. You've always been a big fan of them.
Always been a big fan.
Yeah.
In the Conference League, they have come up against some renowned teams. You know, you got the likes of Jagiellona, Ballierstock. You like them, didn't you?
I heard they were a great team, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh, terrific little team.
Yeah,
Jagiellona, Ballierstock.
Yeah.
FC Banik. Everyone knows.
FC Banik?
FC Banik.
You've just made that up.
They've come up against FC Banik in
Is that the one that
qualifying
has is that the team that have the train that goes through the grounds?
Couldn't tell you. They're the ones they play on the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
They kick it. And sometimes from set pieces,
does it go in the goal hole?
They'll headbutt the ball as well. And Kilmarnock, which, you know.
They built Kilmarnock. They beat Kilmarnock.
They built it.
Did they beat it?
Yeah, they went there and built it.
Did they beat them?
Yeah, I think they beat them.
I didn't even know Kilmarnock was still in it.
Yeah, I didn't know Kilmarnock was still a thing.
Yeah.
They just packed up and moved. But
Big fans of the SPL.
Do you know what, though? What I will say is favourites to win the Conference League. We're obviously the favourites, yeah. But favourites to win, apart from us, are Fiorentina and joint favourites with
Betis.
them, Real Betis.
Yeah.
Now, what happened when these lot played Real Betis?
Did they beat them 17-0?
No, they drew with them. But what I'm saying is that means that these lot are kind of favourites.
Do you know why?
Do you know what these guys are now? What odds they are?
8-1.
They're 40-1 to win the competition.
Wow, that's way higher than I thought they were going to be.
And that's, we mean, way further odds.
Way further odds, higher odds.
But that's specifically
Bigger
because
number.
of the draw, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If they had drawn Heidenheim, they wouldn't be 40-1.
Oh, you're saying because of our quality, they've gone down.
Because of our quality, they've got them at 40-1 to win the
To be fair, in the
competition.
current form, do you not think that the odds would go down if they were playing us?
No.
No,
Not
okay,
to be honest.
fair enough.
I mean, look, they drew with Real Betis, they beat Hearts, they lost to Heidenheim. That was in the last round, which was a knockout round. It was over 2 legs. They lost to them by 1 goal in the first leg and then beat them by 2 goals in the second leg, therefore progressing on aggregate. However, when you look at the job that, you know, we sort of eased past Heidenheim with, you'd imagine, okay, FC Copenhagen.
Did we ease past Heidenheim?
Did we not?
It wasn't an amazing game, was it?
Scoreline was pretty comfortable.
I mean, we had Jorgensen had to make a few saves, didn't he?
Well, what was the score? 2-0?
I think it was 2-1,
Sorry, guys,
wasn't
you've
it?
just seen the flicker again there. I know. We're going to have to put up a bit for this podcast. It is.
So, yeah, Jorgensen had to make a load of saves in that one.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe they're half decent then, but who knows? We should be absolutely smashing these lot. What I'm saying is, if we're looking and we're trying to put a benchmark in, yeah, and we're going, okay, let's say, who's someone we've smashed in this Conference League so far? Astana at home?
Yeah.
Yeah? If we go Astana at home, I'd say they're about the same level as maybe Southampton or maybe an upper tier championship side.
I would say Astana League One.
Really?
Yeah.
So what level are you putting Copenhagen at? Because I'm not saying that they're anywhere near. I think like everything really from like 14th upwards in the Premier League is decent enough, like on its day. Like I think let's say for example, are Copenhagen a tougher team to beat than Brentford or Fulham? I'd say no. I'd say they're not a tougher
I'd say
team
Southampton
to
and
beat.
Leicester would give them a good game. Might draw.
I'm more thinking of the likes of, you know, lower level opposition in terms of the table.
What, like Man United?
Spurs, Man United.
Yeah.
I'm more sort of thinking of teams like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
But then Man United fans would argue that Man United do have more trophies than Copenhagen. European.
I don't know. I mean, Copenhagen have won the league a lot of times.
Denmark.
Yes.
Now, we were speaking about this. Right?
Denmark.
Denmark are the only team to ever win the Euros without qualifying for it.
How did that happen?
That happened, I believe, because of the split of is it Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia?
Soviet Union, per se, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, then to those individual nations, then they broke up.
Well, so did it used to be Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia as two separate nations?
Two separate nations, yeah.
Right, and then.
But they were all part of the Soviet Union.
But now it's like Czech Republic,
yeah,
Croatia, Romania, Serbia and Montenegro.
Yeah.
And
all of the countries with red, white and blue in their flag in some description, it's probably good odds they were once part of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
So use that logic. Slovenia, Slovakia. I don't know if Slovenia ever was, but it makes sense if it
sounds like they should have been.
Yeah, okay.
Why?
Because of the Sloves?
Just the Sloves, really.
Yeah.
But fair play. Any notable former Chelsea players you want to touch on?
For me, the only one that I really care about is Jesper Grønkjær, because I don't remember Andreas Christensen very fondly.
Why don't you remember him fondly? He played for us in the Champions League final, came off the bench, had a fucking blinder.
He was sick note FC, wasn't he? Do you remember that game he had dodgy tummy and didn't want to play?
You can't not play with a dodgy tummy.
You've
I have
played.
the shits before every spar I have.
You have the shits before every fight. That's part of your tactic.
That
to
is
wipe
actually
shit on
part of my pre-fight ritual.
Yeah. It's why they keep falling over in the ring.
There you go.
It is slippery stuff.
I'll tell you what, both clubs have somewhat fallen, because the last time we played these, you were telling me was in the Was that the last time we played them?
The last time we played them was in the Champions League. It was
Yeah.
it was a two-legged tie. The second leg was at Stamford Bridge.
Second leg always used to be at Stamford Bridge, by the way. We used to get it so lucky in the Champions League because, well, I say we get it lucky. Fucking hell. What about that game against Barcelona where that... Oh, I can't even say.
I wouldn't say that was luck.
What?
Where was he from?
What,
the
that ref?
Was
I'm
he
pretty
Dutch?
sure he was Danish.
No, I don't know if he was.
I'm
think he might
pretty
have been
sure he
Dutch.
was Danish, you know. Oh,
don't cheat. Don't cheat. But let us know in the comments if you can remember that referee's name. If you can, you are officially a true member of the hardcore, because that is some serious knowledge there.
Can you
pull it up?
That ref was...
You know when on the Joe Rogan podcast they say pull it up, Jamie? I just say pull it up.
Wait, that ref...
Was he Danish?
Was Tom Henningberg of Rebo, Tom Henning of Rebo, and
is he a knight?
And he is from. He's not from Denmark.
Called it.
He is from Norway.
Okay.
He actually received death threats after that game because of the corruption. You lot might remember this game if you were too young. 2008. I know we've got viewers that
born in 2008,
born in 2008 or onwards from 2008, to be honest. But it was one of the most corrupt refereeing performances I've ever seen. To quote Didier Drogba, it's a fucking disgrace.
It is.
But yeah, if you've never looked at that match, if you're too young, if you're a younger viewer, go back and look. I'm pretty sure it is 2008, Chelsea against Barcelona at Stamford Bridge. Who scored a banger for us in that match? Was that Michael Essien?
That sounds about right. The goal that sticks in my memory is the Ronaldinho goal.
Yeah, but that was from 2004.
Oh, was it? Was that not in that game?
That wasn't even in that game. No. This is 2008. So I think it was Michael Essien. I think Michael Essien opened the scoring with a goal for us, and I believe it was Iniesta from outside the box that scored the goal for them that levelled it. I believe.
But we could have had about 85 penalties in that game, couldn't we? Nicholas.
Oh, mate, honestly, the controversy over that game was ridiculous.
Shall we talk about this Copenhagen Champions League game? Because you said to me you think you can name the goal scorers in this game.
What, for this upcoming match?
No, for the Champions League game that we played, the second leg against Copenhagen, our last match against Copenhagen.
So I was there.
So tell me the goal scorers.
It was at the Bridge. I can't. Can you give me the score line?
Can I just tell you now, by the way, when we were discussing this earlier on, Joey was insistent that he knew the goal scorers. It was 0-0.
Was it actually?
Yeah. The second leg at Stamford Bridge was 0-0. But can you tell me the team?
I can remember this, mate.
The game was 0-0. The game was 0-0. 100% the game was 0-0. I'm certain of it. Were you thinking...
Are you sure? Hold on. Can I just say, are you sure we didn't thrash them and Anelka scored a goal?
In the first leg, which was at Copenhagen, we won 2-0.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the wrong game. Who scored?
Nicholas Anelka got 2.
Well, no, I might not be thinking of the wrong game then.
But that was at Copenhagen, so you definitely weren't there unless you took the trip over.
No, I weren't there, but I was at one of them. Why do I feel like I can picture Anelka scoring at the Matthew Harding end?
There you go, you weren't right. But can you tell me the formation on that night first?
The formation
on that night against F.C Copenhagen when we played at Stamford Bridge. Bearing in mind the manager. Very important, the manager. The manager did mix it up a little bit with the formation.
What year was it?
2011.
Was it the 2011-2012 season?
I think it would have been the...
No, it would have been the 10-11 because
season.
it would have been...
It was in March.
Thingy of the Champions League. So the season before we won it. So Carlo Ancelotti was the manager.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what was the formation?
4-4-2, but...
Diamonds, yeah.
Diamond, but 4-4-2.
Yeah.
You want
some purists would say that's a 4-1-2-1.
Yeah, but okay.
But we'll call it a 4-4-2.
Would you want the lineup?
I want you to tell me one player in the lineup because I think the rest of the lineup is relatively easy. I want you to tell me who played at left mid.
Left mid?
Yeah.
Malouda?
No. Colt Hero didn't play very much for Chelsea.
Kalou?
Didn't play very much for Chelsea.
But a cult hero?
Cult hero to a degree, mate. To a degree. I'm sort of bantering here. Bit of a legend.
Oh, now you might be...
Came in, was good friends with Roman.
Oh, Yuri... No, he was too late. Zerkov.
Yuri Zerkov. Played on the left-hand side in that game.
I could probably give you more players that played in that game.
Quickly.
So
goalkeeper's easy. Goalkeeper's easy.
Check. I'll go Jose Basingwa.
Yes.
Yeah. JT partnered with Alex.
Another player that didn't play that often at centre-back was much more renowned for another position, but played at centre-back in this game. That is the easiest clue I could have given you.
Essien?
No, legend for West Brom. He's not really a legend, but he played at West Brom after.
Ivanovic.
Yes.
Left back Ashley Cole.
Correct. Based in the midfield.
Essien.
No, does a great podcast.
Oh, John O'Mikel.
Yeah.
The game I was at, Essien played.
Okay, well, I don't know why you're doing that because the game before this was the Cup Winners' Cup final, so it wasn't against FC Copenhagen.
Hey?
The game before this, before this game was the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah.
Were you at that game?
Right. No, I weren't. No.
In 1999.
No, but the game I was at, is Essien not on this team sheet?
No.
Are you sure?
He came on.
Oh, I was going to say, Essien definitely played.
He came off the bench.
Yeah, Essien played in that game.
So did Florent Malouda, by the way, who you also claimed.
Malouda, yeah. And then up top...
you haven't got the rest of the midfield yet.
Oh, sorry, Lamps.
Yeah, and then a guy that scored one of my favourite goals of all time in a Champions League match.
Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, Squawka. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website Squawka to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where Squawka comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto Squawka and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use Squawka. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to Squawka for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in Squawka. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it.
Ramirez.
Yeah.
And then up top... You had two up
Two
top.
up top.
Traditional.
Yeah,
say?
they were definitely both strikers for sure. Yeah.
I
One played on the wing though a lot.
Anelka.
Yeah.
Fernando Torres.
Oh,
Is
Fernando was on the bench. He
Ah,
came off the bench.
I just thought because that was the season, innit?
Yeah.
I thought, maybe
Didier
they stuck
started.
Torres in there. Yeah,
Didier
Didier
started.
Drogba starting. That was pretty close, though.
That was really close. I'm looking at their team sheet, and I think
Jesper Gronkia played for them.
Jasper Gronkia
He did.
started
I
for
remember
them.
giving him a standing ovation.
Oh,
Jesper Gronkia
my
played
God.
For them.
I don't know
think
any
he
other
played
player.
left mid for them, and I think
Yeah.
he was captain of the side on that day.
Looks about right to me.
I believe. I thought we won 2-0 at the Bridge. I must have my games mixed up. But yeah, either way, clearly I'm wrong.
Photographic memory. Should we talk about the lineup for this match?
Well, me and you have actually gone with completely separate lineups for this game. Now, we always try, because of the ease of just getting the graphic out and in there, we always try and just come to a conclusion on the same lineup, don't we? Usually.
No, usually we just actually get on and we agree. I don't
Yeah.
know what you're saying about trying to get a graphic sorted.
But
Usually we just agree on
But
the
when
team.
I saw your lineup, I wasn't having it. If I'm being...
Have you, be honest with me, have you even made a graphic for this lineup?
Yes.
Okay, right. So
Yes.
you obviously think it's good enough to make a graphic.
Oh, it's good
for.
enough to make a graphic, but I think the audience will be the decider.
The judges. Okay,
of
right.
that
Shall I go
one.
through it?
Yeah.
Jorgensen in goal. Then I'm going for Gusto at right back. I'm going for Tosin next to him. And then I'm bringing back big, bad Badia Shiel into the lineup. Then I'm going to go for Mark Cucurella. In the midfield, I'm going to go for Enzo, and I'm going to rest Caicedo, so I'm going to play Dewsbury Hall. Then I've got Tyreek George on the left, Christopher Nkunku through the middle, Sancho on the right, with our favourite and the only striker that Chelsea ever need, Pedro Neto.
A few questions.
Please
on
ask
that
away.
lineup, Mr.
Ask away.
Aveste.
You've got to remember, mate, you've questioned my lineups quite a lot, and I just want to let you know, I did tell you that Pedro Neto should play up front. Don't know if you've heard that.
And you have to remember that I predicted it to be 4-0 against Southampton, and you thought we were going to scrape a 1-0 win.
I did say that.
So who's the fucking big dog now?
And you've got to remember who predicted the right result against Aston Villa.
Do
Do you know what we need to do, Joey? We need to get a board up on this wall here, and we need to do our score predictions for each game. And at the end of the season, we'll put 50 quid on it. Whoever wins keeps the 50 quid.
I wouldn't send my daughter to the shops with 50 quid. 500 or nothing.
Oh, I'm not doing 500. We'll
Um,
negotiate it after the episode, but we'll do that.
Seriously, though,
That's a
chucking Benoit Badiashile straight in at the
Yeah.
deep end.
Is that the biggest problem that you found so far in the team?
Well,
Are you starting with Badiashile?
bearing in mind that he hasn't even been on the bench yet. Since
Mate, he's in
his
team
injury.
training. He's posing for photos right now with our boys celebrating a victory in a small-sided game in training. So if that's not ready, then what is?
Well, I mean, like Wesley Fofana
Who are you gonna
actually
play?
being on the bench in our last game. Why doesn't he get a look in?
I'm not, mate. Wesley Fofana. I'm wrapping in cotton wool because you need him in the Premier League. But Benoit can play in this. In fact, Benoit needs to play in this, Joey. Do you know why? Because he needs to build up some fitness. Benoit needs to play in this
I
game.
would say that you have not managed your team with one eye on the Leicester game.
Can I ask you
And
a
would
question
say
then?
that I
Let me
have.
return then. How many centre backs are you playing in your team? Just be honest. Just give me a straight, quick answer. How many centre backs?
3.
Exactly. How many fit centre backs do we have right now, Jay?
Well, hold on. No, not 3 because I don't want to give a spoiler for my team. But I include one of these guys.
You were including another player.
No, I'm including someone that used to be a wing back
Yeah.
as a centre back.
Yeah. Well, no spoilers. Let's not go into it. So Benoit Badiashile needs to bring up some match fitness. This is a perfect game to do it. You've got to remember, mate. We're going back to the B team. We're going back to the B team, Joey. We're playing a game 3 days after this. Is Benoit Badiashile going to play against Leicester?
No.
Is there a chance that they rush back and play Wesley Fofana?
I'd like to say no.
But
I don't think
probably-
there should be a
but
chance,
probably
but there
yes.
could be a chance.
Probably
there could be a
yes.
chance.
So what you're saying to me is there's more compelling reasons to start Benoit Badiashile in this game than not.
Yeah, I think you could maybe say that. But what I'd also say to you is when we look at my team, which will be on screen in a minute, I think that we've got a few options there that could.
Well, don't worry about your team yet.
Could
What
suffice.
about your other concerns on my team then? Because I've just destroyed you on that one.
Well, you haven't destroyed me at all. But one of them, one of the concerns I have, I can only really raise when I give you my team.
Okay.
My other concern that I do have in theory, is just when I look at the front line of your team, in terms of it being Jadon Sancho on the right wing. Yeah. Okay. Christopher Nkunku in the 10.
Yeah.
And Tarek George on the left wing. I've got belief in all of these players.
You're a big fan of all of these players.
Big fan of all of these players. And I will give you a spoiler. Tarek George is starting for me as well.
There you go.
However, that is a front line that has not clocked up many minutes before together. When you add it in with a midfield duo that also hasn't clocked up many minutes before together, I think that we could come under the potential of having a rough ride to start this game against Copenhagen, who will be bang up for it. It will be the biggest match they've played in years, probably. And obviously home support and whatnot. And I think while this team sort of figure each other out a little bit, I would opt to have maybe one or two more senior players in there. And they're my only real greats of it. But we are stuck between a rock and a hard place at the minute, aren't we?
We are. And the only other position that I thought about was whether they're going to play the cup goalkeeper. And I think they probably will. This is probably what I would play as opposed to what I think will happen. But I think that, Robert Sanchez will be the cup goalkeeper from now on. And there's only one cup.
There you go.
So
this is our last chance at silverware.
Joey, there's 2 goalkeepers, 1 cup.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Another cinematic masterpiece. Camera's just blacked out again, but oh well. Right, okay. So right now on screen you can see my team. I have also stuck with Jorgensen. I have got Reece James in at right back. Trevor Chalobah at centre back, paired with Tosin Adarabioyo and Kukureya at left back, who will inevitably invert into midfield, helping out the likes of Enzo Fernandez and new boy Matisse Omagu, however it's pronounced. I need to get the pronunciation on that one right. But he will be starting off there in midfield with Enzo Fernandez. Nkunku in the 10, Tarek George on the left, the same as yourself. However, I am putting Cole Palmer in there on the right-hand side with Pedro Neto through the middle. Now, I don't really think there's anything that controversial about that team. You're looking at me as if I'm mental. So why don't I start with the first change that I've made to my backline? So I'm starting off with Reece James at right back in this match. The reason that I'm doing that is that I believe Reece James could get a successful 45 minutes under his belt and be subbed off, or he could play even longer. If you said to me for that game against Leicester, would I be adverse to having Malo Gusto start the game, considering we're probably going to... And both of us, by the way, resting Levi Colwill for this
100%.
one. So would I be averse to having Malo Gusto start that match, being that we're probably going to have Levi Colwill and Trevor Chalobah or Tosin Adarabioyo at worst, and at best, potentially, Levi Colwill and one of the likes of Wesley Fofana or Benoit Badiashile, Trevor Chalobah, any of them. What I'm saying is, I think that game obviously needs to be prioritised a little bit more in terms of the league standing and whatnot. And I think that Gusto might be a better option for that game in terms of being able to get at Leicester. And I want to manage the minutes. So Reece James there, I think as well. An away trip in hostile environments, who better to have in there in a European competition away game than a man who's been there, done it, worn the T-shirt and lifted the trophy in Reece James. Mm-hmm. And that's my thought process behind that. Now, Matisse Omagu, right? I look at him, and when you pick your pairing of Enzo Fernandez and... sorry for the flickering, guys. When you pick your pairing of Enzo Fernandez and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, for me, what you're doing is you're fitting 2 players into a system that doesn't work. So you're already kind of thinking, okay, that system doesn't work. Because, for example, if, they get it a bit tasty in midfield and whatever, who for you out of Enzo Fernandez and Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is the one that's going and getting stuck in, winning those balls and trying to cover that ground and do that Caicedo-esque work.
Probably Dewsbury-Hall.
Probably Dewsbury-Hall. And is he any good at doing that?
Why not?
No,
He's
come
not.
on.
He's not awful at that.
He's not great at doing that, and you know that.
Yeah, but also, like, I'd rather have Dewsbury-Hall playing than a kid that we don't know how good he is.
Why?
Like, you don't know anything about Amugu.
Why?
The thing with Amugu is we don't even really want him at the club. We want him at Strasbourg next season.
Right,
so he came on for some minutes the other day.
No. He came on and actually I thought looked all right.
He did.
Okay, and second to
Southampton.
that, Southampton, whatever, Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second to that, when you say that there, profile wise, whether he's nowhere near as good as Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, he may not be. But profile wise, we know that this guy is a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen
when
it from
he
his
came on,
stats.
he did do that.
He did that when he came on for us, but that's a cameo appearance. But what we watched from him, in Ligue 1, we see that he was doing that. You go on SofaScore, you have a look at his heat maps, you go on Scorecar, whatever. You go on these websites and you have a look, and that was, in terms of tactically, that is what he was doing. So at least you're going, right, okay, we don't know how good this guy is, but it's like going, yeah, I don't know how good this bloke is, but he is a goalkeeper and we need a goalkeeper. Or, well, I know that this guy's average, but he's an outfield player, but maybe he's better in you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, he is a man that fits that role, and that's why I've chose him there in that formation, right? And also, I'm not being funny, mate. Let's say you were on blind date, right? Girl comes out.
He's a good-looking guy.
Girl comes out. She's a 5 out of 10, yeah? Nothing against her, but she's a 5 out of 10. She's bang average, yeah? And they go, right, stick or twist. You're not going to see the bird, but you can stick or twist. So you could score a 3 out of 10 here, but you could get a 7. What are you doing? You're twisting. You know you are. You're twisting. And that's what I'm doing here with Amargu over Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall.
What if he ends up with a 1 out of 10?
Then that happens. I take that risk. Life's about taking risks, mate. Listen.
Fair enough. Okay.
And Kunku and Tyreek George, I think, and Pedro Neto, we're all very much clear on. I think that is something that, at least until Nicholas Jackson comes back, is going to be something that we go forward with. The least likely to actually get the game is Tyreek George, in terms of he's not a starter for us. He has started a match in this competition, I believe, and he's featured in a few, but he's not a starter for us. From what we've seen from him, I really do want to see him given the grace of having that start in this game. And I actually feel like away at Copenhagen, there's a little bit less pressure on him than there would be in that Leicester game. And who knows, if he has a man of the match performance, then that might be something that we end up seeing. The reason I've got Cole Palmer in here is because I don't believe the hype and I don't believe the narrative in terms of Cole Palmer has completely fallen off. I do think that Cole Palmer's performances have maybe not been to the level that they were just, before the bad run came in, but he's still creating just as much. I think that this is a game where we could get a couple of goals, and I don't think that Cole Palmer needs that confidence, because I think that regardless of it, right, whether he's low on confidence or not, he could step up and slot a penalty right now, no problem, right? But he needs people to convert the chances he gets on the end of in a game like this where we're going to have plenty more of them. I mean, he had 8 shots against Southampton. He put some good balls in, created some good opportunities, and was unfortunate, He didn't get a direct assist, but he was involved in goals and whatnot. And I think that having him as what I call one of our more senior players, one of our players that are going to be key for us, I think that having him there in this game is more important to me. Now, obviously, the other thing is this, right? Remember, we could have this wrapped up by the first leg, Josh.
Yeah.
With a 4-0 scoreline or something, we could have this wrapped up by the first leg, right?
Yeah.
So the match that follows this is Leicester. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
What's the point? What's your point?
The point is the match that follows the second leg, I believe, is either the game after Arsenal and before another tough game.
Yeah. Would you not say, though, that the game against Leicester, if we don't win that, is more catastrophic than a loss against Arsenal or a loss against a different team? Do you see what I'm trying to say?
No,
I still think
I agree with you with what you're trying to say there. Let me tell you, by the way, sorry, the second leg is on a Thursday night and it's followed by the game against Arsenal.
And that's on the
Sunday the 16th. So what I'm saying is if we could wrap this up in the first leg, then really we could literally follow, field the C team in the second leg and get through it fine and be good. And that means that you could give Cole Palmer the best part of 8 days rest before that Arsenal game.
My rationale on Cole Palmer is, one, we need to wrap him in cotton wool, because if he does get injured in a game like this, you'll have said, why is he playing in a game like this? Do you see what I'm saying? And also, Cole Palmer, motivation. Let's just have this point now. Do you think that Cole Palmer is motivated and would want to be the best version of himself in this game or in the Premier League?
He'd want to be the best version of himself in both games, mate.
I think there's an element of Cole Palmer where he expects and deserves to be playing in Premier competitions. Hence why he wasn't even within the squad in the first half of the season.
But he's been registered in the squad for the second half of the season.
Registered.
In the first half of the season, we had Christopher Nkunku, we had João Felix, we had Mykhailo Mudryk, we had Noni Madueke fit and available. We had options there in that first half of the season that we don't have now. We had Mark Gue, we had Nicholas Jackson there. We don't have those options there now. We're in the second half of the season. We're going into this match, and let me give you an alternative scenario, right? Let's go alternative scenario, and let's say a fucking Servette 2.0 happens, and we end up going over to Denmark and getting turned over 2-1. Then what happens? Shit hits the fan the game before the Arsenal game. And then what? If we get turned over 2-1 in this competition, are you seriously going to say that you would sit here in honesty and go, oh, do you know what? I no problem with Enzo Maresca not starting Cole Palmer and Caicedo in that match. No, you're not. You're going to want him to field the big boys. You know you will. If we are trailing going into the second leg, regardless of Arsenal being a couple of days away, you're going to want to see Caicedo, Enzo, Cole Palmer on that field. I guarantee you of that. So what I'm saying is we could be proactive rather than reactive. Get the points in the bag, get the goals in the bag in this game, and go into that second leg, which, by the way, nice enough, no travelling at Stamford Bridge. Give the kids some run out, mate.
I think we could do that with the B team.
I think you'd leave in a lot of risk there.
There is risk.
That.
I think for me, the way that I look at it now is, what is the most important thing this season? Is it winning a European trophy, or is it qualifying for the Champions League?
It's both.
And that's a good thing. But if you're saying one or the other, for me it's the Premier League.
For me, it's
Just
both.
focusing on the Premier League.
For me, it's both. I set my stall out at the start of the season. I said that we need to win the Europa Conference League and qualify for the Champions League. For me, it's both.
Yeah. So basically, you're holding them to that standard now.
Yeah. And therefore, my decision is made on trying to win both. And that's why I'd have Cole Palmer in here from the start. If he only gets 45 minutes, he only gets 45 minutes.
Yeah,
that's fine.
There is a rationale, and I like your approach here. And I've tried to do that with my team, because I was even thinking about not playing people like Enzo or maybe even a Cucurella. Like, to be fair, because what was if Cucurella gets injured? I mean, you've got a big load of ifs here.
No, he's the one. He's the one, by the way, Cucurella, that I look in that team and I'm like, that's a risky one. Yeah. But then obviously we've got a plethora of left backs to pick from, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we've got loads. Yeah, I mean, you could name 5 or 6 easily off the top of your head.
Oh yeah, Chalobah's played there before.
Is it Samuel Smith as well? He's the academy option, I think, off the left.
Got no idea.
I mean, yeah, we all know it's going to be Gusto or Reece James.
It's not like we've got rid of any decent ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've only got a Champions League winner out of Crystal Palace,
and
we only gave Lewis Hall to Newcastle. You know, and we only gave Ian Matson, who's now playing Champions League football, to Aston Villa.
Yeah,
you know.
Anymore? Yeah.
Marcus Alonso.
I miss Marcus Alonso. He was actually a really good player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, looking back on Marcus Alonso's career. So yeah, look, I think for me, the approach to taking this game, especially when you're looking at people like Pedro Neto, is play them in this game, hope that they score a load of goals in the first half, and then take them off. I want to see Shim off the bench in the second half.
Well, let's speak about Shim Mayuka, because the Chelsea Chronicle website, I'm sure a lot of you guys visit that, they're normally quite close to the mark with their reporting on certain situations and things like that. And they've
What have
published
they said? Breaking news?
Breaking news. Yeah, they've published an article within the last 3 hours or so saying that Enzo Maresca may turn to Shin Miuka for this game from the start. Now, I think that we always try and sprinkle in a dose of reality with our starting lineup or preferred starting lineups that we give. They're never predictions. They're what we would prefer to see, right?
Yeah.
But we always try and put a little bit of reality in there and
We
whatnot.
don't just
So,
wanna
say, for
randomly
example,
say it, yeah.
earlier on in the season, we weren't really picking Tyreek George. Now the injuries and suspensions and whatnot have started to pile up. We are picking Tyreek George, right? But I think that the reality is we don't really feel like we're going to see Shin Miuka in there from the start. He got about 6 minutes against Southampton, something like that.
It wasn't much, was it?
But with that news breaking, would you be adverse to seeing Pedro Neto rested, or potentially, if we go on my
On the
lineup,
right.
put out on one of the wings
Yeah.
and Shin Miuka starting in there?
I wouldn't want him on the wing because I feel like if you're going to rest him, just rest him.
What, Neto?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but like I said, I'd rather start stronger. I think your point is start stronger in this game. I think my point is start stronger in this match, but there are still players that I wouldn't sacrifice. You know, I still think you need to wrap Cole Palmer in cotton wool because if he does get an injury in a game like this, in a Conference League game, and we're without him for the rest of the Premier League season, we are in big trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm more risk managing on my team sheet with certain players. Like Caicedo again is another example. I don't want him anywhere near this game. I actually wouldn't really want him in the squad for this game because what's the point? Like every time he goes in for a tackle, I'm worried about Caicedo.
Even just to travel, mate. I just rather he didn't travel.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's not that far away, but even just getting on the plane, not worth it.
How soon do you think it's going to take the players that have been out injured to come up to fitness? And I know it's very like you can't really give a thing on that because some have been out for ages, some have been out for not so long. Like, do we say for example, right? Expected back right now, is Wesley Fofana, Ben Wabadi-Ashil,
Nonny's not too far away. Probably a couple more weeks.
Nonny and Nicholas Jackson are both not too far
Post international break.
away, post international break, right? So those four
Yeah.
immediately sort of, you'd imagine within the next 30 days, we're going to see at least minutes of them off the bench and whatnot, possibly within the next 7 days or so for some of them.
Trev,
and then
Trev's back.
Yeah, I don't really count him as being injured anyway.
Yeah, fair
but
enough.
then the likes of Romeo Lavia, we're left in the dark on.
I just think they're wrapping him in cotton wool. He probably is fit to play at this point. They're just not sure if they want to bring him back. It's the same thing we did with Reece. Do you remember how long Reece was fit for?
So how long, bar Romeo Lavia from that, how long do you think it needs to take those boys to hit the ground running? Do you think really with a sort of congested fixture schedule, do you reckon within the period of 3 matches we could get them boys?
With the pressure that we're under, they've got to come straight back in, haven't they? As soon as possible. I mean, they'll give them 3 matches, but they'll want to be as soon as possible.
And do you think
Wesley Fofana, for
that
example,
correlates with a clear and direct improvement in our team? Because the
In
one out
certain
of those
positions,
that
yeah.
I've named, sorry to interrupt you, the one out of those that I've named is really Wesley Fofana. I think that although there were certain people that were potentially, I'd say about Colwell, and people would go, oh, well, Fofana's making mistakes and whatnot. You did see a drop-off when he came out of the team.
there was a huge drop-off.
But to play devil's advocate, we put 2 and 2 together and got 5 last time, didn't we? When or it looks like that anyway. Now going on this season, when we sort of signalled the uplift in form towards the end of the season as Enzo Fernandez coming out of the team.
Yeah.
And it could have been the
was the
reinstruction
injury,
of Trevor
really.
Chalobah.
Yeah, yeah.
It could have been that Pochettino got things right in the end and whatnot, or that we just went on a good run of form. So we could be reading, the wrong message here when we talk about Wesley Fofana, but having him back in the team would be essential.
I
for
think
our
he's
running.
essential, but I also think that Nicholas Jackson is essential if you're talking about players that we need to get back in the squad right now. So I think once you have a fit and firing Nicholas Jackson, we put Neto back on the wing. We have some really good attacking wingers feeding the balls into Nicholas Jackson. We get the goals back. Cole Palmer really appreciates Nicholas Jackson as well, let's be honest, as in the number 10 role and the sort of the support that he gives him. So I think for me, he's almost the most key one. But if we can start bringing down the goals conceded, and we don't have a player in Robert Sanchez behind those two who are giving goals away, I think we're going to be in a lot better position for the rest of the season. And I think there are other teams in the Premier League that have got a lot of grace this year for the amount of injuries that they've had. And we've been told, you've got to pity Arsenal because, they don't have a striker fit right now. And that's why their form is massively subsiding. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever, right? There's various teams. I mean, Man City, again, are probably a good example with Rodri. But you look at our injuries, it's massively stunted our season. Like, look at when we were fighting fit, 100% fit, even without Romeo Lavia, we were playing really well. I mean, arguably, we were on for a second place finish.
God,
that's not. We're not too far away from that. Yeah. We're 3 months away from that point. Back in the day when we were saying we were going to be challenging for that sort of title.
Glory days.
Yeah, the second place title. Yeah, God, good times. But yeah, look, I think when those players come back, we're going to be a very different force, and then we will be able to field. Like, I've heard a lot of people recently saying that the B team doesn't exist at Chelsea now. And yeah, we've lost players to loans and whatever, like João Felix, Vega.
I don't think the B team exists now.
It does when we have a fully fit squad.
Not with as many blurred lines as there are.
Well, okay, striker, Mark Yu, when he's fit, he'll be playing. When you've got Lavia back, you've got 2 out-and-out defensive midfielders ready to fill in, haven't you? And you've even got a fifth with Amugu as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the blurred lines are more so in terms of who do you pick from A and B team. Like, it was quite clear, and I thought the drop-off from the B team was quite clear.
Yes.
Whereas actually now I don't see that as much.
Yeah, but what people are saying is that we've got a much weaker squad. And,
so let me just give you an example. Let me give you an example here.
Yeah.
Tosin Adarabioyo was a solidified member of the B team.
That's a big drop-off for me. I make the point, and I stick by this. That is a huge drop-off between him and Wesley Fofana. Huge drop-off.
And between him and Levi Colwill?
I think Levi Colwill was way better than him, yeah.
Huge drop-off, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not disputing it. I'm just it's up to these lot in the comments.
I think that's a huge drop-off. I mean,
I think a lot of people put a lot of praise on Tosin Adarabioyo.
I think he's a decent Premier League player. I don't know if he ever was a Chelsea player.
Okay. Fair enough.
I honestly...
Fair enough. Let's get a score prediction for this game from yourself, Mr. Aveste. Last time we went away at Copenhagen, you're telling me we beat them 2-0. Do we surpass that scoreline?
Yes, because we are going to concede, though. Because we always concede, don't we? Sorry to say it. 3-1 I'm going to go for in this game.
Didn't concede against Southampton.
We didn't concede. Southampton are another kettle of fish, aren't they?
What?
They're another killer fish, Southampton.
Why?
They're bad.
Why?
They're Kieran. They're Danny. Danny with a Y and Danny with an I.
Dire, I know. But you're mate, listen. Better teams have come up against Southampton and not put 9 goals in 2 games past them this season.
But we're talking about goals conceded. I still think we conceded a lot of goals. Go on then, tell me your score prediction. Because you are the oracle.
3-0 Chelsea.
Yeah. I love it.
That's what I'm
having. I love how confident you are. Because what I'm doing now is I'm doing these score predictions with an element of pessimism. Because I've been burnt too many times predicting victories.
Yeah, well, that is why if you get off the bike, mate, you get straight back on.
Yeah.
Always get back on.
Always get back on the bike. Do you have the training wheels on your bike?
No.
Haven't
ridden a bike in a very, very long time.
Do you reckon you can still do it?
What, ride a bike?
Yeah.
Of course I could, mate. Of course I could. It's like boxing, you never forget.
I would like to see a team photo of the Chelsea players riding bikes for a park in Copenhagen. I reckon that almost might be sort of like a prediction that will come true.
There you go. There you go. We'll AI something up. Right, people, make sure you are locked in to the live stream. I will be live on the channel on Thursday from 5 p.m, maybe 10 minutes or so before, for the Chelsea against FC Copenhagen game. And then I will get out my match review or review straight away after the game. For those of you that have watched the full episode, sorry about the little bit of camera flickering. We have tried to fix it, but it was either don't get an episode out or put up with it. So I'm hoping you can put up with it. We will see you all in the next one.